Greetings, this is Faolan, and I've watched a few minutes of this video and decided to do a reaction video. So, for those of you who don't know, I fucking love Palworld. I think it's fucking amazing. I'm super addicted to it. I goddamn love this game. It's incredible. I'm also a massive fucking Pokemon fan. I have loved pretty much nearly all the entries in the series. It's like, I can count on 4 fingers. Less than 4 fingers, really, depending on whether or not you include both versions or just include versions as one, on how many of the games in the series I don't like, right? And the ones that I don't like will probably surprise you. Let's just say Gen 4 outside of the remakes of Soul Silver and Heart Gold. Anything around Gen 4, I'm not a fan of. But, essentially, I love Pokemon, I love Palworld, and I'm able to love both at the same time. Which apparently is not something you're allowed to be able to do. Because we cannot have nice things. There is a giant controversy that's going on right now where people are basically claiming that they have plagiarized the majority of the designs in this game. Right? What is my basic opinion before we get into this? I agree that some of these designs are way too close to be mere coincidence. Some of these designs reek of that 1 years old meme where people are using references to create an original character, and that original character is just a combination of Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Batman, and it's very, very, very obvious, right? There's a few designs in this game that are basically that. The ones that spring to mind right away are the Superior and Primarina one that I've mentioned in another video, where it kind of looks like an awkward Pokemon fusion mix of the two, right? The other one is that one Sword of Justice blue guy. We got a fucking version of it recently in the new game. As you can tell, can't remember the Pokemon's name. It's a legendary. I couldn't give less of a shit about it. I don't care about 90% of Pokemon legendaries. They're boring as shit. The Swords of Justice, the ones based on the Three Musketeers, one of them's blue. There's a design in this that is literally just that, but better looking. So, yeah, so we're gonna... But I think that the whole idea that all of these, or most of these, are plagiarized is kind of fucking ridiculous. Because most of them that they say are plagiarized are nothing Pokemon invented, that many other games have done similar things, or they're just cartoon animals. But let's get into it, and I'll give you my opinions on them, right? So I've muted it, or I want to mute it, because we don't need to hear this sound. It doesn't add anything. Right, let's go. Alright, so it's a squirrel. So because it's a squirrel, and one thing I will add, this game is an obvious parody of Pokemon, right? I'll talk about it as some of these characters come up, but this is an obvious parody of Pokemon, so it's going to be taking inspiration. I think anyone who sees this game and thinks that they have not taken inspiration at all from Pokemon is an idiot. That's kind of missed the point, right? They have obviously taken inspiration from Pokemon. A lot of the design around this game is, what if some of the darker themes in the Pokemon world that only really ever get explored in hints, mostly in the Pokedex, were actually real? Well, yeah. So, but it's obviously, they can't make it a Pokemon game because, let's just say that if this was actually at risk of being plagiarism, Nintendo would have nuked them years ago. They are heavy-handed with protecting their IP. Heavy-handed. So, yeah. Okay, it is a cartoon squirrel. So, obviously, because Pokemon invented cartoon squirrels, it has to be based on Pokemon's cartoon squirrel. And because it's grass-themed, obviously Pokemon invented grass-themed creatures. So, obviously, it's a combination of these two. Obviously, it makes sense. It's just a cartoon squirrel with grass themes. Oh, this one I've heard people going on about. Yeah, Goodra with the hat there. These kind of flowers exist in real life. It is a fucking basic-ass dragon design, or dinosaur design, with a flower on top of its head. Yeah, I see the similarities. Look, we've got these Can you see my mouse in this thing? That's the question. Hopefully you can see my mouse in these things. Let me just drag this over here to check. Hopefully you can see my mouse. Good, you can. Like, I get this. Like, I do. I get it. Like, that, it's a bit sus. I agree. It's a bit sus. But this isn't Gujar, and this isn't Lilligant. It's this Dino Blossom character. It's not the same thing. I see I think one of the biggest things are probably the eyes. Those Pokemon eyes are in so much. I get it. I do get the combination. But it's not the same. It's really not. I've heard people going about this one. What I would point out, actually, is I see the face. I do. I see the face, but these are just Pokemon eyes, right? It's like saying that Pokemon from Generation 1 are plagiarizing other Pokemon from Generation 1 because they all have random horns and fangs. That was just the design philosophy of Generation 1 Pokemon, right? Any character with these kind of eyes are going to look similar to Pokemon because they're very Pokemon eyes, right? That was one of the biggest things that really separated Gen 1 and 2 from the later gens, because a lot of the design philosophies that they used in those early gens, they kind of moved away from in Gen 3 onwards. But the one thing I actually would point out on this, Blaziken. Yes, this video seems to limit itself to 3 characters, but those feet, they're Blaziken feet. That's not a combination of friggin' Decidueye and Gallade. There's a bit of Blaziken thrown in there as well. I see it, but here's the thing that you guys are missing, right? This isn't Gallade. This isn't Decidueye. This isn't Blaziken. It's its own thing. It's not a copy. I'm not going to see this and think, oh, look, it's one of these. No, I'm going to see it and think it's their thing. Let's see what else we got. This is the one I'm talking about. And they get it wrong. They compare it with Milotic. That ain't Milotic's face. You've only chosen Pokemon's noodle. You actually do your argument a massive disjustice here, because you basically choose Pokemon's noodle, water noodle, and you assume, oh, it's obviously a copy of the water noodle. Nah, it's not a copy of the water noodle. I get it, the little things here. Let me show you another Pokemon. Again, you guys are limiting yourselves to, in your video, to only 2. Here's Superior. That face is that of Superior. That ain't Milotic. Now, I get it in terms of the little bangs here, you know, but that ain't Milotic. Now, what I will say about this is, looking at it now, the hair is similar, but I mean, do Pokemon own blue wavy hair like that? That's the thing. Do they own that? I don't think they do. I think there's a lot of designs out there that have blue wavy hair like that. Again, especially in ocean-based creatures, right? I get the bangs, but to me, this is more Superior than anything. But this looks really awkward. This doesn't look like a natural design. This does look like a merger to me. It doesn't look like it stands on its own. It looks like a Pokemon fusion. A fusion of more than 2 Pokemon, but it does look like a fusion to me. Oh, this one's funny. Right, so Pokemon invented blackbirds and owls. You are not allowed to have a cartoon owl in your video game. If you do, you're copying Pokemon. Fuck off. That's ridiculous. It looks nothing like either of them beyond being a bird. Also, Pokemon invented the idea of a Firefox. Look into the lore, the mythology of kitsunes. The thing all of these characters are based on, right? This isn't copying Pokemon. This is copying mythology. Apparently, Pokemon owns the concept of a kitsune. Fuck off. No, I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. Pokemon owns kitsunes, guys. Pokemon owns Firefox, the web browser. Pokemon came with it first. This guy looks like my neighbor Totoro more than anything else. This is something they do repeatedly in this game, by the way. In this thing, by the way. Electric creatures are identified by electric designs, like symbolism. So electric, like electric symbol tails or electric strikes on their body. That's how you know they're an electric type, because they're yellow and they have the electric zap on their design. Again, Pokemon didn't invent that, dude. Fucking warning signs for electricity invented that. This is a very basic design to get across that this creature is in fact an electric type. Kind of like how fire types tend to be red, water types tend to be blue, grass types tend to be green. Pokemon didn't invent that. Basic color theory did. How is this any of these guys, despite beyond being a round guy with claws? Did Pokemon invent round guys with claws? Really? There is no creature in the history of video games or media that looks like this beyond Pokemon's two round guys here. Really? Come on. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that there's no case here whatsoever. Some of them are very close, but I think this is just basically chucking everything on the wall. And because it chucks everything on the wall, except the few things that actually work, it ruins its own case. Here's one they don't mention with this either. I'm pretty sure this game was in development before Scarlet and Violet came out. But that being said, there is something I want to put here. I do get the derpy Slowpoke here, but there's actually something else, because you've limited yourself to 2 Pokemon per design. There's something here that is a bit too close to home, in my opinion. And I'm going to do your job for you. That top freaking this thing right here is literally Sobble's crest. That is Sobble's crest. There's no two ways about it. That is Sobble's crest. I think that's weird how they've just put that there. Not only is it just there, but it's the same color. Yeah. Now the rest of it, I get. Like, I don't see anything wrong with this. Again, Pokemon doesn't own derpy faces. Pokemon doesn't own fucking, you know, goofy looking fat guys, right? Pokemon's not the first to do this. They won't be the last to do this. However, you'd have a much better fucking case if you showed Sobble here, because that crest is Sobble's crest. It's way too on the money to be just came out of nowhere. Oh, here's another one of these. Right, Pokemon owns electric iconography. Pokemon also owns dogs. If you design a dog in your video game, you are copying Pokemon. If you use electric iconography in your video game design, you are copying Pokemon. Pokemon owns electric iconography and they own dogs. They are the only people in the history of media to ever do this. Fuck off. I'm sorry, there's no case there. That is nothing like these in terms of design concept. Well, sorry, in terms of, like, copying outside of sharing similar concepts. One is a dog, one is fucking electric, like, symbol. It really is. It's just a fucking tail. It's just a fucking tail. What of Lucario, shiny Lucario, by the way, what of shiny Lucario is here except sharing a canid face because it's a fucking canid? What of this is Lucario? Nothing. What of this is Raichu? Nothing. Again, Pokemon doesn't own this symbol. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. And if it does, well, it should have words with fucking DC because the Flash uses that symbol as well. Fucking ridiculous. Right. Obviously, it's Salamence because it's a blue dragon, and apparently Pokemon also owns this kind of like electric, like spiky electric things that we've seen in again a bunch of media. You ever play Halo? Look, it's the Needler. It's copying Halo. Halo copied Pokemon, guys. Or I suppose in this, Pokemon copied Halo. Right. Let me show you something else, actually. Monster Hunter Jet Dragon. This is what it's copying. The Jet Dragon from Monster Hunter. I forget its name. Valstrax. It's got a better name as well. That's what it's copying. It's copying fucking Valstrax from Monster Hunter. The Jet Dragon. It makes about as much sense as anything you're saying here. And no, I'm sorry. Pokemon doesn't own the concept of blue dragons. Pokemon doesn't own the concept of energy light. Pokemon doesn't own the concept of a jet dragon. Fuck off. Right, so Pokemon owns the concept of Lance Knights. Fair enough. Okay, if you have a Lancer in your video game, Pokemon owns it. And if Pokemon had invented a Centaur, it would have owned this as well. Because Pokemon invented everything. I do see similarities between I forget the name of this new one, this guy and this guy. However, it's mainly just the face. And again, this kind of look has appeared in a lot. In fact, one of the most consistent comments about this specific Pokemon I've heard is it looks like a Digimon. Because there's a lot of Digimon that look like this. Which is why this motherfucker actually looks more like a Digimon than anything. In fact, I'm pretty sure that there's a Digimon out there that looks like that. Let me Google it. Centaur Digimon. Let me have a quick look. There's no Lancer? There's no Lancer. I can't find a Lancer. But, yeah, there is definitely a Centaur Digimon. Let's swap over and you can have a look. Here we go. Look at this. Obviously, they're copying Digimon because Digimon have also done Centaurs. So, obviously... Oh, look at this guy. Oh, yeah, they're totally copying Digimon, guys. They're not No, I'm sorry. Pokemon invented Digimon. That's right, yeah. Without Pokemon, we wouldn't have Digimon. So, like, freaking... Pokemon invented Digimon. I forgot about that, yeah. Pokemon came first. Nothing else exists but Pokemon. So if you have a Lancer in your game, if you have a Centaur in your game, you're copying Pokemon. Fuck off. Mega Aggron and this dude. I actually see this one. There's just something weird looking about this thing where it doesn't quite fit. And then we've got, like, the rounded things here. Yeah, it does look like a fusion. I agree. This one's a bit off. There's so many similarities between design traits with these two, where it does legitimately look like a fusion between the two of them. There's no defending that one. I agree. This guy I fucking love. I'm assuming they're going to compare it to Zoroark. Oh no, wait, this is the one that made me do this video. I remember this one. Alright. Houndoom! Houndoom! You've gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. Houndoom? Right, let me show you guys something, alright? This is Cinderbone. This was one of my characters back in the day on City of Heroes. It is a devilish looking character made of white, black, and red coloration. It is a fire user, and it has a lot of skull and bone designs. Obviously, when I made this, I had Houndoom in mind. I was totally plagiarizing Pokemon when I made this incredibly generic, edgy-looking character. Because Pokemon is the only company to ever use black, red, and white on a fire-based hellish creature and use bones in its design. Nobody else has done that. In the history of fantasy and media, no one has done this. Only Pokemon, because Pokemon is the only thing that exists and everything is a copy of Pokemon. Are you fucking serious? This is the biggest leap in this entire fucking video. I'm sorry. How the fuck is that plagiarizing Houndoom? It is nothing like Houndoom. Except maybe appealing to the same edgy bastard like me. Like, I love both of these. I made Cinderbone back in the day. Can you guess why? Because I like these themes together. Dude, that is... This is the one that made me make this video, because this is the most ridiculous fucking thing I've seen on this list. That is ridiculous. Pokemon owns the concept of a hellhound. They own the concept of a fiery, demonic, bony creature. No one else in history has done that. Only ever Pokemon. Do you play other games? Have you only ever played Pokemon? You might want to play a few things. Maybe, I don't know, a fantasy game like Dungeons & Dragons. Oh my god, Dungeons & Dragons copied Pokemon. They have a hellhound. Jesus Christ. That's ridiculous. That is so fucking stupid. Grookey. I will say, the animation is the biggest thing here. But again, apparently Pokemon owns the concept of a grass monkey. Okay. What I will say here again, I said this about Lucario. Pokemon's monkey design is, well, it's not a monkey, it's a little chimp. Like, it's more ape than anything, which considering its evolution makes sense. Pokemon's design here is far more creative than this. Because this is literally just a green monkey. Right? It's literally just a green monkey with weed attached to its head. That's it. This is actually a creative design. You can tell what it's based on. There's some caveman iconography there. It's based on a monkey or an ape. You can tell what it's. You can tell its influence. Like, you can tell what it's based on, but it doesn't look like that. It's kind of like Totodile looks like a crocodile or an alligator, but it doesn't look exactly like it. Then we have Sandile, which does. You know, like, I will give this to Pokemon. They do this a lot. You can tell what the inspiration is, but it doesn't look exactly like it. That's just the cartoon monkey. But apparently Pokemon owns the concept of a grass monkey. Apparently Pokemon owns the concept of a dark little guy. The vibes between Esper and this thing is completely off. Apparently you're not allowed to make little cat-looking things. Apparently Pokemon owns the idea of a little dark-coloured cat. So any game or piece of media out there that has made a dark cat... I'm going to turn Steam off. Any game or so on and so forth that has ever made a dark cat... Yeah, you're obviously plagiarizing Pokemon. Because Pokemon is the only person that can ever the company that can ever do anything like that. They own this concept. Incidentally, I fucking love the Depresso. It is a constantly depressed motherfucker that stays alive with caffeine. This is probably one of the most relatable fucking fuckers in this game. Esper is fucking boring. Moving on. Yeah, like, I'm sorry. This is just another one of these things where it's like, the concept is too similar, so fuck you, Pokemon owns it. Oh, this guy. This wolf is the one I've got this thing fully maxed out on my game. I've caught over 100 of these fuckers maxing this guy out. I've got better ones, but I just love wolves so much. So obviously I love this guy, because it's a cartoon wolf. Speaking of cartoon wolves, Rockruff was the thing that I was the most excited for in Sun and Moon. I love Lycanroc. Lycanroc is one of my all-time top 10 favorite Pokemon or something like that. I love Lycanroc. Why? Because I like wolves. And these things are cartoon wolves. Let me show you something Pokemon copied because it came way before Pokemon. Alright guys, proof that Pokemon copied Monster Rancher. Here we have a wolf. Those thieves. Monster Rancher owns the idea of a wolf. No one else has done a cartoon wolf before, except every single fucking turn-based RPG and RPG in general to ever exist. The wolf monster is as generic as the giant rat or the giant enemy crab. Fuck off. Oh my god, they made a cartoon wolf. They're copying Pokemon. Fuck off. Are you serious with this? Are you actually serious? This is the dumbest shit. Fucking Christ. Alright, we've got the Candy Floss Sheep. Yeah, apparently Pokemon owns the concept of cake creatures. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of cake creatures in Dragon's Quest as well. Dragon Quest Candy Monster. Let me have a look. Cake Monster, maybe? Because I know they exist. I finished playing Dragon Quest Monsters last year. I'll go and find any, but I know for a fact that they exist. Dragon Quest Cake Monster. Yeah, there's plenty of them. I'll show you the world. Thankfully, Pokemon has never made a candy world, so they can't be accused of plagiarism. Here is the candy world. And in the candy world, you can find many candy-based creatures. There's cake creatures, there's chocolate creatures, there's dessert creatures. There's a lot of them. It's kind of cool. It's kind of neat. But it's a good thing Pokemon hasn't done that yet, because they would have been copying Pokemon. So as you can see, this is a cake sheep, because fluffy wool can look like candy floss, so to me that makes complete sense. And here we have a dessert furry type, because Pokemon owns the concept of making creatures out of desserts. So any other game or piece of media out there that makes something based on a dessert, especially if that's pink, like a furry cake, oh, well, you're copying Pokemon. Nobody else is allowed to do what Pokemon does. This looks nothing like that, despite sharing a similar concept. You're ridiculous. This one's intentional. Salazzle, right? Yeah. Let me get this fucking thing's description up, because I can't read it on this properly. Love Ander. Love Ander. Does it have the description? It doesn't have its description. Essentially, what it says is that it used to, let's see, seeking a night of love, it is always chasing someone around. At first, it only showed interest in other pals, but in recent years, humans, blah-de-blah-de-blah, has become the target of its debauchery, right? Salazzle. I love both of these, by the way. Salazzle is one of my favorite Pokemon. I love Salazzle. It's a fire poison type. Very, very cool. Let's read out some of the Salazzle Pokedex entries. Only female Salazzle exist. They emit a gas laden with pheromones to captivate male Salander. The winner of competitions between Salazzle is decided by which one has the most male Salander with it. Salazzle makes its opponents lightheaded with poisonous gas, then captivates them with alluring movements to turn them into loyal servants. When two Salazzles meet, they will use their pheromone gas to fight over the males in each other's group. So they're essentially horny queens, right? They're all about basically getting as many men to succumb to them as possible. I love both of these because I think this concept is fucking hilarious. And what Palworld does, like it does with a lot of things in the game, is it takes a concept Pokemon hints at but is too PC to actually go into and outright states it. Salazzle will snoo you to death and you will not have a choice about... Sorry. Lovander will snoo you to death and you will not have a choice about it. One of your first raids will probably be a bunch of these fuckers coming to forcibly make love to you. And you will have no choice but to accept unless you kill the fuckers. So, yeah. That's why I like them. They're funny. And incidentally, this is a far more creative design than this Black Lizard. I love them both. Salazzle is one of my favorite Pokemon. I used it in my first team because I loved it so much. It's such a good Pokemon in general. Its shiny is incredible as well, but very hard to get because most Salandit you meet are male. So a lot of people who have shiny hunted for one have had male ones, unfortunately, that will never evolve. But it's really cool. I love this thing a lot. Just like I love this thing a lot. The only thing this is missing is a tail. It doesn't have a tail, which is weird. It's a lizard. Give it a tail. But no, this is cool. This is an inspiration that has become parody. This is one of the most obvious parody creatures in the game, which is why it's been talked about so much by media and used in promotions for the game, because it is an obvious parody. That was the point of it. Ferret. Pokemon owns the concept of ferrets. Nobody is allowed to make a long boy, a noodle boy, or a ferret in their video game because Pokemon completely owns the concept of ferrets. The only thing that connects these two is the pose and the animal of origin. These two beyond that are nothing alike. And yes, he can walk. But no, like, I'm sorry. Are you serious? How is this plagiarizing Pokemon by being the same animal? Pokemon owns ferrets, apparently. You can't be serious with this. This is one of the ones I've seen people talk about. Right, so you're telling me that, like, I do actually see some similarities here, right? The shorts, yeah. The socks, yeah. Not the tail, because this one actually has a tail. The face? No, not the face. No, it's this lower half. Everything beyond that is different. The ears aren't the same, the hair isn't the same, the face isn't the same, the neck thing isn't the same, the tail isn't the same. It's just this lower half that's the same. I will say, though, I will take this over Cinderace any day. Cinderace is one of the most unfinished-looking, bland Pokemon they have ever made. It's popular because the fire types are always popular. But I'm sorry, this is such a bland design of a Pokemon. This is better. This is cool. This is unique. It's based on a rabbit, so of course it's going to have similarities. However, I will agree that the legs here are a bit too similar. I agree. But these are not the same creature remotely. I'm not going to look at that and think Cinderace. Not outside of this debate, anyway. Meganium? Yeah, Meganium. Yeah, Pokemon owns the concept of flower dinosaurs. Anyone else make a flower dinosaur? You are plagiarizing Pokemon. Honestly, this is just a cooler design. This motherfucker is literally just a dinosaur with a flower around its neck. This is much cooler. They are more consistent in its design. They have done a lot more to it. Again, if this has been inspired by Meganium, then good.
because they've done what the Buffy TV show did to the Buffy movie. They have taken something kind of meh and turned it into something pretty fucking cool. So, it's not the same thing, but the concept's very similar, and they've obviously taken inspiration. Oh, this is a funny one. Lucario, right? Right, we're seeing Lucario again. He's not yellow this time, because that's not the point they're trying to make this time. Lucario and Anubis is based on the same thing. A jackal. So it's weird how they look the same, because they're based on the same, right? Now, I will give it to Pokemon in that Lucario is a far more interesting design based on the inspiration than Anubis. Anubis is literally just called fucking Anubis, which is the most lazy shit in the world. It is a furry jackal with Egyptian design traits. So, yeah. Probably, I mean, it looks cool, but it is probably one of the least creative designs in the game. Because it's like, oh, draw an Egyptian fucking jackal. Like, yeah, that's what you're gonna get. It's like, no. But of course, it's similar. Because it is a anthropomorphic cartoon jackal. So of course it's gonna have similarities. The arms aren't the same, the feet aren't the same, the tail's not the same, the face isn't the same. But the body isn't the same, but the general overall vibe is the same because it's based on the same fucking thing. And I tell you who else have been plagiarizing Pokemon. The furries. Please no penis, please no penis. Let me just look through quickly. Alright, no penises, we're good. You've always got to be wary when you're looking up furry stuff online. Right, now look at all these bastards plagiarizing Pokemon. Look. Here, gay furry art, doesn't that just say it all? Here's an Anubis character. Lucario, obviously the plagiarizing Pokemon. Here's another one, obviously plagiarizing Pokemon. Oh, this guy's definitely plagiarizing Pokemon. We can't have a jackal, like Egyptian jackals in a video game. This one's got blue in it. This is definitely plagiarizing Pokemon. Oh, look at this guy. This guy is really plagiarizing. He's plagiarizing hard. Oh, God, is that... No, I don't think... I'm going to scroll up just in case it is. You get the point. It's an Egyptian jackal. They're both based on the same shit. Of course they're going to look similar. But if you actually look at these designs, they're not the fucking same. They're just based on the same kind of fucking thing, so of course they're going to look similar. Ridiculous. Right. So apparently, Pokemon owns the concept of cartoon penguins. Why the fuck didn't they sue Club Penguin? They should have sued Club Penguin, because Club Penguin obviously plagiarized Pokemon. Pingu obviously plagiarized Pokemon. No one else is allowed to make a blue cartoon penguin. Only Pokemon. Fucking Mario! They plagiarized themselves. Mario has blue penguins. Shut these motherfuckers down! Okay. Oh, here we go. We got another Firefox. Yeah. Again, they look nothing alike. A Firefox is a very tropey design. It's a very tropey idea. Apparently, the web browser Firefox plagiarized Pokemon. Because Pokemon is the only thing in the... I know I keep making this joke, but I'm trying to nail this down. Pokemon is the only company to ever come up with the concept of a Firefox. They need to sue the web browser. Obviously, the web browser is plagiarizing them. These look nothing alike, despite being... Because they are the same concept. They are a Firefox. That's it. Of course they are going to have similar looking traits to them because they're based on the same fucking thing, but their design is nothing like one another. Besides being various shades of red and orange and being foxes. This is so stupid. Honestly, you could have cut this video down to like a few seconds to show a few of the ones that do actually go over the line. But because you're spamming all of this ridiculous bullshit, you hurt your own argument. Pokemon is the only company to own floating squid. No other company is allowed to make floating squid characters. Only Pokemon. So, again, Nintendo is plagiarizing themselves because bloopers exist. And I'm pretty sure a bunch of other games have fucking floating octopus or squid or jellyfish in them. They're all plagiarizing Pokemon because Pokemon did it first. Even when they didn't, Pokemon did it first. Play other games. We've got a cute pinky little thing. Oh, come on. It's pink and it's cute, so Pokemon did it first. It looks like a fucking generic plush. It looks like the kind of thing like Iron Mouse goes fucking ballistic over, those cinnamon roll things. It's just a generic little cute guy. What, because it has ribbons and a bow? Have you been to the plush aisle in a kid's toy store? There's a billion of these fuckers all around. Apparently you're not allowed to make a cute pink thing with ribbons and bows, otherwise you're plagiarizing Pokemon. Hello Kitty? Yeah, you're copying Pokemon, you thieves! Fucking stupid. A big green mammoth. Are you kidding me? Pokemon invented elephants. It looks more like the Popo from fucking Monster Hunter. What are you serious? Pokemon invented elephants. I don't even need to say anything beyond that. Pokemon invented elephants. Oh, yeah. This is one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. It's in the top 5. This thing was announced on my birthday, and as someone that loves fantasy and Corvids, I was over the moon. This thing went, like, I had a great day that day, but this thing in general was why that birthday was my best birthday ever, because I love this Pokemon so much. It's one of my favorite Pokemon to ever exist. This thing is one of the coolest fucking creatures in the goddamn game. This is so fucking cool. I can't wait to be able to get one myself. I'm seeing so many people flying around on them, which says to me that either a lot of people think they're cool or a lot of people, they're really good, right? Both people love these things in general from both games. These are really popular characters because they're cool. And apparently, Pokemon invented the concept of an armored bird. This is a samurai. This is a knight. They are not the same. This is, look, an eagle-looking thing. This is a corvid. They are not the same. Pokemon did not invent birds, nor did they invent armored birds. These things have existed in other media for a long time. Get over yourself. This thing looks so fucking cool. Garchomp. I see it. Yeah. I see the similar designs. Do you know what this really showcases to me, though? Look at the fucking animations in Pokemon and compare it to this, right? I'm going to take this off for a second, right? Here's the Pokemon design. Here's the Palworld design. Palworld designed a fucking creature and they animated it. Pokemon can barely be bothered to do that and use it repeatedly over and over and over again. Say what you want about them plagiarizing the fucking game, but at least Palworld actually bothered to make fucking animations. Like, I love Scarlet and Violet. I loved X and Y. I really liked Sword and Shield, right? I'm not a Pokemon hater. I love Pokemon so much. I finished watching Journeys recently, and my opinion of Pokemon is that it is a magical IP. I am still struck with childlike wonder playing that game now, just like I was back in the 90s. Pokemon has never stopped being magical for me. Even when I can criticize the games, I still love them. But criticism where criticism is due. The biggest IP in the fucking world, except maybe Hello Kitty, and they can't be asked to properly fucking animate their characters. And at the same time, they're reducing those characters in video games. I want to send over my Lopunny. I want to send over my fucking, Gliscor. I can't send over my Garbodor to the new one either, because they're not allowed in this region. Thank Christ Hurlucha is considered popular enough by Game Freak that I've been able to use it in every game since X and Y. I've got a shiny one. It's called Luchadorable. It's been with me for about 10 years at this point. 10 to 12 years, something like that, whenever X and Y came out. I love that thing like a pet. If I lost that thing, I'd be upset. It would feel like a death in the family, as silly as that sounds, because I've used it for so long. I love the thing. Legitimately love the thing. It has been with me for years. And, yeah, it's just... Eventually, a game is going to come along and Hurlucha isn't going to be popular anymore, so Game Freak's not going to include it. And that pisses me off. Lopunny apparently isn't popular enough to include in the new region, so fuck you for people who've got like a Max IV shiny one that want to use it. Fuck you, I'm sorry. It uses a similar body shape, I guess, but this is not the same thing. For one, this has so much more personality than the 3D version of Garchomp. Not the black and white version of Garchomp, by the way, the pinnacle of Pokemon design. No, like, this is... Look how static it is, man. Like, this thing is an animal. It has personality. It's ready to rock. This thing is just sitting there. It's an electric orca. You can tell by the colours that it's based on an orca, right? So it's a land whale. It looks like it can fly, maybe, based on the wings on its back. It's got those electric themes. Why isn't Pikachu or Raichu here? Because it's copying the Pokemon patented electric symbol. Those electric that electric symbology is all over it. Why isn't Raichu here? Because it's obviously copying Pokemon, because it's an electric type with electric design tropes on it. Yeah, it's a fucking dragonoid creature based on an aquatic animal. Just like that is. It's not the fucking same. Just look how much better the animations are in Palworld, dude. It's unforgivable, just like the way Pokemon is with that. Oh, Eevee, Vulpix, something like that. Yeah, it's a shiny Eevee as well, because obviously we've got to copy the colors. No, it's not. I did think Eevee when I saw it, I must admit, but there's no Eevee that looks like this. For one, this thing looks like it has intelligence behind its eyes. Eevee, until I got shiny Hurlucha, Eevee was my favorite Pokemon for years. You do not fuck with me when it comes to Eevees, okay? I love my VVs. I love them. They're the best thing in the whole Pokemon series. They're the most adorable motherfuckers around. Do you fucking see? Wait a minute. Do you fucking see that collection behind me? I fucking love my VVs, okay? Yeah, it's similar. I agree. It's similar. At best, you can say it's inspiration, but I do not know any Eevee in the game with clothing, that much intelligence in the eyes, the kind of design that makes you want to know more about it. This is just a cute little fox guy. This makes me want to know more, because this looks like a character. That looks like a plush. This looks like a character. It's not the same thing. Maybe inspiration. I'll agree with you. There's obvious inspiration from Pokemon here, but that's kind of the point of Palworld. It's a parody. So any inspiration you see that isn't blatant plagiarism is meant to be there. Again, anyone that says there's no inspiration from Pokemon is deluding themselves. There is. That's kind of the point. But there's a difference between inspiration and plagiarism. And I'm sorry, these aren't there's nothing in Pokemon like this. What? What? Like, I mean, maybe the horns you could compare with Absol, but it's just an edgy boy. It's, again, this is a case of, this is something that uses the same colors, so it's obviously the same thing. Like, at most, I'll agree with you with the arms. These really thin arms leading to a furry break and then down into red claws. Yeah, I agree with you. I can see that. But Again, this is not the same creature. Because, I'll say it straight, I fucking love Zoroark. It's an edgy boy, I love Zoroark. And the colors are similar, blue eyes, red highlights, dark fucking features. But this thing is ugly. I do not like this. This gives me fucking Hisuian Sneasel, just awkward ass vibes. There's something about that I don't like. But this I do. And if it was the same, why the fuck would I like this and not that if it was the same character? It uses similar design tropes. I'll agree with you. There might be some inspiration there. But it's not the same character remotely. Are you the kind of person that sees an apple and a pear that are both green and assume they're the same thing? Bite into them. You'll find out very quickly that they're not. Vesper Queen. Pokemon invented the idea of humanoid bee queens. Enter every fucking science fiction show ever. Fucking Terraria copied fucking Pokemon, apparently. That's like the first thing that comes to mind when I think of bee queens. It's a queen bee! The design tropes are obvious! Incidentally, I love Vesper Queen. It's one of my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon. It's one of the only Gen 4 Pokemon I actually like. I don't like many Gen 4 Pokemon. This is cooler. This is so much cooler. Also, look at the animations. The dress flows. There's personality here. The animations are so similar, but this looks like a creature. That looks like a toy. Can you see what I'm getting at here? It's the same concept. This is not the same as this. They are bee queens. Of course they are going to look a little similar because they are the same concept, but they are not the same design. Can you wrap that around your head? What's this gonna be? There's nothing... Pokemon invented witch hats! Wait, I don't have it in here. Shit, I have a witch hat somewhere. And floofy ears. Look at me. I'm plagiarizing Pokemon. Nobody in the history of media is allowed or has ever made a witch hat with, like, animal ears. Have you seen anime? Have you seen anime? How many fucking, like, witch girls with cat ears or shit exist in the world? Are you high? Oh my god, it's purple and it has a witch hat and pointy ears? It's obviously Pokemon. Because Pokemon is the only thing I've ever played in my life. Have you watched anime? Seriously, this is like the magical girl chop. Incidentally, I love this thing. It's one of my favorite designs. Are you fucking serious? I'm actually surprised you didn't throw Delphox up there. But it's a witch hat and it's purple, so it's the same. Ugh, nothing in media is allowed to have a purple witch hat with ears. Otherwise, they're totally copying Pokemon. Fucking go outside. Oh my god. Engage in something other than Pokemon. You might realize that not everything is fucking Pokemon. Jesus Christ. What's this based on? Oh, of course, yeah, the pink sheep. You see, it's pink. And it's got white floofy fur. So obviously, this llama with the same colour palette is plagiarising this plump little sheep with the same colour palette. Only Pokemon is allowed to use these colours. Goodbye to every fucking plush store and girl's bedroom. Fuck off. It's ridiculous. Is this Eevee again? Oh no, because they've used Eevee. They can't use Eevee again. This is nothing like this. Similar animal. I actually don't know what this is based off. Some of it looks like a fox. Some of it looks like a cat. I don't know. It's not the same thing. I'm going to treat this one the same way as I treated the fucking elephant one. This is not the same thing. They're similar looking animals because they have big ears and a fucking snout. But beyond that, this is not remotely the same. Get over yourself. Oh, this is the one I agree with. No. You don't point Eevee there. No, again, let me do my job. Let me do your job for you, right? This isn't Eevee. This is Gigantamax Eevee. It's not the same. That is Eevee, Gigantamax Eevee. That is Creamy or Creme or something like that. Yeah, that's just Eevee. I am not defending that. That is just Eevee. That is a very floofy Eevee. And that is all that is. In fact, this image does it disjustice because the tail is the same as well. All this is Eevee that hasn't had its fur cut in a little while. This thing could not possibly exist if Eevee didn't come before it. And it's mainly the face, but it really is. It's just Gigantamax Eevee. That's what that is. The only thing they've changed is the color and the amount of floof that exists. So I do agree with that. That one goes above board for me. That one's... No, I'm sorry. That one's too close. Miltank. A Snorlax. My Neighbor Totoro. Studio Ghibli. You've got Nintendo on the line. Apparently, your mascot is copying them. Yeah, apparently Pokemon is the only company allowed to make fat guys with slit eyes because they're asleep. Nobody else is allowed to make big fat motherfuckers with closed eyes. Yeah, again, have you ever been to like a plushie aisle? Oh my god. Litwick, because it's a... Yeah, apparently only Pokemon is allowed to make candle creatures. No one else is allowed to do that. Despite it being nothing alike beyond that same theme. Oh, a fox? Ninetales? Yeah, apparently Pokemon is the only person in the world to be able to make a an ice kitsune. I love this thing, but that is so much cooler. Look at the minty colors and the extra details on the sideburns and the fucking... that come out the ears and the big floof at the top. And just the seriousness in the face. This is such a cool design. Again, I love Alolan Ninetales. I used it in my first team. I went out of my way to use that. I adore Alolan Ninetales. But this is so much cooler. I've not seen this in the game yet. I didn't know this existed. That's amazing. Yeah, I like Fox design things. And apparently, Pokemon is the only company in the world to have ever made an ice, like, tundra fox before. Pokemon invented kitsunes. That's gorgeous. I want that in game. That's amazing. Oh, fucking Staraptor. Right. The colors are plagiarized. And by that I mean unless you can own a color palette, which I don't think you can. Yeah, they have taken a similar color palette. That does not look the same as that. It does not look the same as that. It just doesn't. They're birds, and they have the same color palette. That is the only thing. It's not the same creature. Apparently all birds look the same to this person. What is that a copy of? Go-Goat? Yeah, Go-Goat, apparently. No? Yeah, again, it's a goat-looking thing, although that could easily be a sheep. It's a goat-looking thing with grass iconography. Apparently Pokemon owns that. No one else is allowed to do a grass iconography goat other than them. I love Go-Goat, but that thing is... I love this thing. It's so cute. I want a plush of this. It's so cute. I love this thing a lot. But, no, it's the same concept, but they're not... It's not the same design. It's just the same concept. Apparently, this person doesn't understand the difference between same concept and same design. Again, I just want to point this out. Look at the animations. This thing is just fucking happy to see you. This thing looks like a dog when you come home. You're here, hello, this is so amazing. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Meanwhile, that guy's just standing there and slowly putting his head up and down. Ah, this is one of my favorites. I love this motherfucker, he's so cool. Do not say Toxtricity because it has a fucking mohawk. No! Why, though? It doesn't have the same color. It's not wearing... This isn't wearing pants, and that's not wearing a hoodie. I mean, why did you go with, like, Scraggy and not a Scrafty? Or whatever the other one is. What? I'm actually confused by this one. You see, I thought it would go for Toxtricity. Because, like, the MO of this fucking video, it's the same colors. You know, we've got the yellow mohawk, we've got the purple. Obviously, it's copying because same colors. But I'm just confused by that one. I am genuinely confused by that one. What? Were you high when you made this? What the fuck is even that? What? Please, somebody explain. Is it because they're based on delinquent kids? Like chavvy kind of punks? Is that it? They look nothing... What? Oh, I'm confused by that one. That is confusing. Oh, has Pokemon invented elephants again? Yeah, Pokemon invented elephants. No one is allowed to make cartoon elephants, only Pokemon. Have you seen an elephant before? Oh, this is the one I was talking about. Yeah, Cobalion. Yeah, I agree. That's way too similar. That is way too similar. Like, there's copying color palettes and maybe the same... But what concept even is this? Like, this is something that is uniquely Pokemon. This isn't just a fucking fox or an elephant. This is uniquely Pokemon. That... No, that's too similar. I agree. That is a bit... I mean, I suppose you could say inspiration, but... Like, I get Salazzle, because, again, they're taking the piss out of the whole concept of that creature, but what are they even doing with this to kind of parody anything? No, this is one of the most egregious ones. I agree, that one comes a bit close. This is what I mean. If they showed this one, if they showed the one that looks like Gigantamax Eevee, if they showed the one that looks like Superior and Primarina, they'd have a case. They would have a case, but most of these are just ridiculous. But if they showed more like this, then yeah, they would have a case. But, yeah. Because that is just uniquely Pokemon. Oh, is this like Pokemon invented Rays? Why the fuck did they go with this one and not fucking, the main Ray Pokemon? I forget its name now. I want to say Manta Ray, but that's what an actual animal is. Yeah, apparently Pokemon owns the concept of cartoon rays. Why they went for that one and not the other one, I don't know. Oh, are they going to go with Wooloo or are they going to go with Mareep? Wooloo. Pokemon owns the concept of sheep. Like fucking Oddman Entertainment with Wallace and Gromit. You copied Pokemon, get to court. Every fucking kids cartoon show with a cartoon designed sheep, you copy Pokemon, get to court. One of the criticisms of Wooloo is it's just a fucking sheep. At least Mareep looked like a Pokemon. This is just a fucking sheep. You could stick this thing in any other fucking cartoon out there and it wouldn't look like a Pokemon because it's just a fucking sheep. Pokemon doesn't own the concept of cartoon sheeps. Or sheep. No, sheep is the multiple, isn't it? Yeah, there's no sheeps. There's just sheep. Pokemon doesn't own that concept. This is more creative than that. They did more to differentiate this from a real sheep than that is. That is just a fucking cartoon sheep. Are you serious? Fuck off. What's this one copying? I'm surprised they didn't put Galarian, Meowth, and Gengar because of the same colors. Honestly, if anything, this reminds me of some of the creatures from My Neighbor Totoro. It reminds me of the bus from My Neighbor Totoro. My Neighbor Totoro bus. I mean, it's not the same, but there's just something about the general vibe of the thing where it reminds me of the bus from My Neighbor Totoro, or oh, what's the name of that cat? Alice in Wonderland cat. Yeah, like, it's got that general vibe to it. I believe the concept is similar. It's based on the same kind of thing. It's got that general vibe to it. But again, Pokemon doesn't own Yellow Eyes, Sharp Teeth Cat. There's so much in media that this looks like. I've seen a billion anime that look like that. No, I'm sorry. Oh, this is one of those Pokemon owns the concept of humanoid. How is that the same as that? Is this just color palette again? Because red hurt? They're both based on plants. Admittedly, this thing is a lot more generic. But again, Dragon Quest Monster had a design like that as well. Because Pokemon, believe it or not, was not the originator of humanoid plant people. They have been a staple of RPGs for a long time. What's that based on? Pangoro? Oh, Pokemon owns bears! Nobody else is allowed to make cartoon bear designs! Are you fucking kidding me? It looks nothing like it outside of being a bear. Why is this that? Are you legally blind? Are you high? How is that the same? They're just bears. Oh, fuck off. I'm running out of energy because this is ridiculous. Oh, Zatu. Based on the same kind of concept. I do agree. However, that is not going to be confused with that. They're based on Native American totems. I think they're Native American, but they're based on that. So yeah, they have similar colors because if you look at Native American totems, they do actually have these colors. So yeah, they're taking a totem and they're turning it into a real bird. I think this is a case of the color palette's very similar, but looking at them side by side, it's really not the same. It's just similar because it's based on the same thing, right? Yeah, like I don't think this is copying Pokemon. I think this is two designers copying, using the same inspiration. Is this shiny Meganium? I love how the other one, because of the colors, is copying Meganium. But this one, because of the colors, is copying... I completely forget the name of that. I always chose the T-Rex. It's just because of the colors and what the animal is. Apparently, you're not allowed to make a Brontosaurus. I like how I remember Brontosaurus, but not the name of this fucking thing. You're not allowed to make a Brontosaurus monster in your video game, otherwise you're copying Pokemon. You remember that South Park episode that was like, Simpsons did it! Simpsons did it! This is that. Pokemon did it! Pokemon did it! If Pokemon did something before you, you're not allowed to do the same thing, apparently. What's this copying? What? How? It's a fucking hippogriff! You'd get more mileage out of comparing this to a Harry Potter character. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my god, it's a bird creature! It's obviously copying the only other bird creature I'm aware of, because the only thing I've ever played in my life is Pokemon. That's really what this video screams of. This is based on a chimera. That is the whole concept of its design. I've not seen this in game yet, but it's obviously based on a hippogriff. Chimera, they are very similar because they are based on very similar mythological creatures. That's why. Oh my god, that dragon is copying the wyvern. I'm sorry, no. This does not look remotely like that outside of being a bird-looking creature with 6 limbs. And that doesn't even have the wings. It doesn't even have that to go with. It's a hippogriff. That's based on a chimera. They are not the same in any way besides the fucking limbs. Oh, shaman. No! Electric, obviously, and it uses similar colours. So, I thought they'd go with shaman. There is a blue version of these in the video game. I wonder if they'll use shaman for that. Pokemon invented fucking hedgehogs. No one is allowed to use a hedgehog other than Pokemon. I can't even remember. Pokemon invented the colour brown! Wait, have Pokemon done a boar Pokemon? Do boar Pokemon exist? Boar Pokemon. They've done pig oh yeah, they have. Fucking Palworld. I forgot about Palworld. That's really the only boar they've done? Wow, okay. They need to do another boar, because boars are cool, man. You're shitting me, right? Is this because it's brown and it's got this, like, color gradient here? Alright, this is taking the piss. This has to be taking the piss. This isn't real. This isn't somebody's genuine opinions. This has to be taking the piss. Please tell me this is just taking the piss, because you cannot be serious. This is a raccoon. This is a boar. This looks... They don't have design in common. They don't have theme in common. The only thing they have in common is they're brown. With, like, lighter brown stripes. Because it's a boar. Pokemon invented zigzags and the color brown. Christ. This is gonna fucking break me. Is this Lilligant again? God of War. Apparently Pokemon invented dresses? That's... did you just tell yourself not to use the same Pokemon more than once, unless it's a shiny variant? No. Pokemon didn't invent dresses, nor did they invent fucking flower-based or green and white Pokemon. Sorry, green and white monster designs. What argument am I even making at this point? Because this is ridiculous. This has to be bait. I'm falling for bait here. Abomasnow. Tangle Growth. I mean, I guess. But they also had designs like this in Moomins. Was Moomins copying Pokemon? Or actually, no. Considering the date of Moomins, Pokemon was copying Moomins. Like, there are creatures that look like this in Moomin because that was the art style. I don't know if everyone ever watched Moomin. But there are creatures like this in Moomin. Let's see if I can find one. There's a few there. That looks like an art piece. Yeah, okay. Let's shove that one over. I'll show you that one. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, there we go. Like, you can see one of them here. One of them down here. Moomin. Moomin was great. Used to watch this a lot as a kid. But, yeah, there's some similar design there. But, yeah, like, again, it's one of these things where it's like, apparently if Pokemon does it, they own it. If Pokemon has a basic concept, they own it. Because, like, this is a Yeti cat with a black fur. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is based on something. But no, like, I'm sorry, it's not the same. Like, I'm getting baffled at this point, man. Legitimately baffled. Thanks for... You're welcome. Thank you for the aneurysm. So, I think we've established at this point that there's a few. This one is legitimate. This one is plagiarism. Like, I don't think inspiration covers that one. That is too fucking close. What else have we got? That one is too fucking close. That design would not exist. Like, look at that face. That is like, we have Eevee at home. No, I'm sorry, that's too close. And then I think for the next one, we have to go all the way back. That one's intentional. And it doesn't look the same as Salazzle. I can see that one. But it is different enough that I think they'd get away with it. But I can see that one. And what else have we got? That one is probably the worst looking design in the game. It looks so awkward. It does look like a Pokemon fusion. Not a fusion of these two. Unless these two and Superior. Then yeah, okay. And I think that's it. I think they're the only ones in the game that has kind of any kind of credibility. Nothing else kind of works. I think this controversy is ridiculous. It's like everything. I'm putting that one. Where's fucking that one again? I want to show like that really stupid one on here. Yeah, I'm leaving it on that one because that's the one that broke me the most. But it's like there is some legitimate criticism you could make, right? I do agree, and I think there would be a case to be made if people didn't work in black and white. Remember Pokemon? It's not always black and white, but your heart always knows what's right. It doesn't, by the way. Your heart lies to you a lot. But they have a case in some, not even a handful, like half a handful of designs, they have a case. But that case is completely ruined by comparisons like this. This is ridiculous. Does Pokemon own the color brown? I love brown. Apparently a lot of my fucking wardrobe needs to go away because if I'm ever in a photograph, I'm plagiarizing Pokemon. You know, a lot of this is basically, it's the same concept, it's the same animal, or the same general vibe, I guess? It's ridiculous. Or it's using a similar color palette. I think this is ridiculous. I think this is someone that has seen some similarities and has decided to go fucking apeshit with the comparisons. This is insanity. There is some truth there, but like everything, we can't be nuanced with it, we can't be realistic with it, we have to go off the fucking deep end on one of the sides. I personally will fall, if I have to choose a side, I'm on Palworld's side, because the similarities are not that consistent enough, especially with these comparisons, to really, for it to be justified. I am more than willing to bat for the 2 or 3 that I do think go overboard, because if it means the bulk of the game is going to be taken down because of this. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, because this game has been advertised for a few years now. It's been in development for a long time. Nintendo would have shut this the fuck down, like they do every Pokemon fan game project, right? As soon as YouTubers start talking about it, boom, it's gone. Nintendo is infamous for protecting their IP to retarded degrees, right? Retarded degrees. If they had any case whatsoever with this, it would not have come out. I think the statement they made was to shut up, you insane people that have been spamming them, because we must protect the multi-billion-dollar company, to protect basically to shut the people up that have been harassing them with claims of plagiarism. That's why I think they made a statement to say, we'll look into it, guys. We're on it. basically, shut the fuck up and leave us alone. That's the way I read that. Nintendo's not looking into shit, because they probably know about this game, and they don't give a fuck. In fact, after I made that video of mine the other day, I had a comment from a relative of mine. I got a message from a relative of mine saying, that game looks hilarious, let me know when it comes to Switch. Because the fact is that there are games on the Switch, like Nexomon, that are far more like Pokemon than Palworld. Nexomon, here's the thing, if you love Pokemon, you will love other games that are take inspiration from Pokemon. If you are a fucking, like, brand-sucking shill, you will only play Pokemon and never try anything else with the same kind of genre. And you're not worthy of respect, and that's the case. If you like something, you will want to try things that are similar. It really is just that simple. And quite frankly, Pokemon needs competition. The reason why the Pokemon games are going downhill while they're getting lazy is because it is one of the biggest properties out there. One of the biggest properties out there. They do not need to try because twats like me will buy every one of their games anyway. They're still making their money. They're still I've got like a Decidueye plush out there. I've got a bunch of these Eevees. I've got Pokemon merch coming out the wazoo. I'm part of the problem. I'm fully aware of that. But if I was a fanboy, I'd be shitting all over Palworld because that's just apparently what we do. I'm not a fanboy. I'm a fan. I love Pokemon. And I love this game as well. Just like I love fucking Cassette Beasts, which despite being nothing like Pokemon was called a Pokemon clone. Just like I loved fucking Dragon Quest Monsters, which despite being nothing like Pokemon was called a Pokemon clone. You fuckers call every monster taming game a Pokemon clone because you people have never played anything else. And this video is very obviously evident of that. Play other monster tamers. Play other games. Engage in other media. Because if this is plagiarism, you have lost your fucking mind. Pokemon does not own elephants. They do not own color palettes. They do not own the color brown. They don't own cartoon animals. They don't own humanoid plant people. These things have been done for fucking years. Long before Pokemon and long after Pokemon is dust. This is a ridiculous controversy that only exists because we're not allowed to have nice things. And every single time something comes out and it's popular, somebody somewhere takes offense by it. It's ridiculous. Grow the fuck up. Alright, so one final bit at the end here. I'm looking at the description for the video, right? A comparison of all pals in Palworld and their Pokemon counterparts. Note, this video is not meant to generate hate for Palworld. I fully support the game and its developers. Fair enough. Which begs the question, why was this made? Because, like, the counterparts just don't... Are you really just going for, like, general vibes? I don't understand the Warthog one, because that Warthog and Zigzagoon do not have the general vibes. The Warthog is just a general boar, dude. Like, it's the same personality as in every board game. Every boar in every video game. Yeah, I don't get why it was even made. One of the top comments in here. Indie game animations much smoother than billion-dollar company. That's what I was saying. Another comment. I love how these run the gambit from, yeah, that's a bit of a stretch, to, yeah, that's Eevee in a jacket. Yeah, it's... I feel like these comparisons can also be argued for creatures in Dragon Quest. Only reason I would see this being compared to these games in particular is because Pokemon never had competition before in terms of sales. That's the big kicker, right? That's the big kicker. A lot of this comes from, it comes from people who are protecting a multi-billion-dollar company because their personality is so entrenched in this. They feel like any hit on Pokemon is a hit on them. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I think some of the hate towards Pokemon is ridiculous. Like, the people with Sword and Shield that went on about that fucking tree. Like, the people who shit on Pokemon for graphics are the same people who go on about Red and Blue being the pinnacle of Pokemon. You know what I mean? Which was outdated even for its time, and had some hideous sprite design. So, even for its time, I'm sorry, it's like... And Pokemon was never about graphics. They've kind of missed the point in that, right? The performance is a legitimate complaint, though. I think a lot of the time when it comes to hate or support, people run on bandwagons and they don't actually think about anything they're talking about. Can we flip the narrative and start saying they ripped off Digimon too? I mean, like I said with that one fucking Blade one, a lot of people say that thing looks more like a Digimon than a Pokemon, because it does. I'm not a fan of Palworld, but I have to admit that 90% of these comparisons are huge stretches, and plenty come down to two very different creatures based on the same concept. I mean, how many big wolves can you make without them looking very similar at all? Yeah. Yeah, apparently the screams are so similar. I didn't listen to them, so that might be something I'm missing out on. Maybe that's why some of them, like the lizards, were compared, because they have similar screams. I don't know. But I'll give them some slack, because they say, like, this is not meant to generate hate for Palworld. I fully support the game and its developers. Fair enough, but that begs the question, why was it made? Was it made to prove the point that they're not the same? If that's the case, then fair enough. I take back all my freaking rage and complaints in it, but again, like, I want to know what the point in this is, because we're talking about something that is a massive controversy. Is the point to generate clicks on your video? At which point, congratulations. Is it to point out, like, how some of it is similar and some of it is a massive stretch? Is that the point? This would have been a lot better with some commentary in the start, so you can kind of get across what the actual intent behind the video was. You know? But, yeah, I'm going to edit this together and upload this. I'll leave a link to the original video down below. Please don't go over there and hate on them, alright? If you're going to say anything negative about them, post it here. Don't shit on them over on their channel. Fuck that. We've had enough bullshit with this whole controversy. This video is mainly for me to mock the whole concept of, you know, the whole plagiarism thing, and just to have a bit of fun, right? Like, just like they're not spreading hate, I'm not spreading hate. So, go over there, give it a like or a dislike or anything like that. Maybe put a comment if you want, but don't be a dickhead. Don't be overly aggressive. Don't be like me in this video. Yeah, if you want to hate on them, do it here. Don't do it there. Okay, leave them be, because I will cut them a bit of slack for that, just like disclaimer. But, yeah, it's I'd like to know why the video was made. I would have liked some commentary, to be honest. Because, honestly, if you've been following Monster Tamers for a while, there's been a lot. And there's been a lot of them that have obviously been inspired by not only Pokemon, but certain eras of Pokemon, right? Like Disc Creatures, for example, is very much inspired by the Red, Blue, and Yellow era of Pokemon. And it's extremely nostalgic, despite being a new game because of its art style. That's cool. You know, like, the thing with Palworld is it's the first one of these kind of Monster Tamers game to really hit the mainstream. And because of that, we're getting a bunch of people coming in here screaming that have no idea what they're talking about, because this is their first entry into monster taming outside of Pokemon, and it's very obvious. Look into monster tamers, because there's a lot of them out there that are fucking amazing. And as much as I love Pokemon, I will never stop loving Pokemon, a lot of them do it better. A lot of them scratch that itch that we really want Pokemon to scratch, which is probably why I'm perfectly fine enjoying these games and Pokemon, because I've got other games that scratch the itch that the series I love more than any of them doesn't. You know what I mean? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye for now.